Hi guys, welcome back. I'm really glad to make a YouTube video today. It's been a long time. I think the last video I made was with Anthony, my friend, and that was in Prague a couple of months ago. We're going to talk about that in a bit. But today I wanted to talk about fluency. What is fluency? And I'm going to try to make this not controversial, but actually useful for language learners. Now, the reason why I use the word controversial is because with the word fluency, it so much happens that a lot of people debate, quibble. They say, oh, this is my definition. My definition is correct. Your definition is wrong, blah, blah, blah. I think that's really missing the forest for the trees. I think that there is no one-fits-all, size-fits-all definition of fluency. The truth is that fluency is something that should be defined by you. And if you define your own concept of fluency, the great thing that is going to happen is that this is going to help you actually carry out an efficient strategy. It's really important in life to have a precise goal, and this helps you to define a strategy because if you have a precise goal, this defines your action. So without further ado, I would say that I'm going to give my own definition of fluency. So once again, this is my definition. And my definition of fluency is to be able to actually hold a conversation, to make it flow, to communicate smoothly, fluently, the word fluent, flow, with other human beings, which actually implies two things. First, that I can get my point across even if I don't know all the words in a language. And the second thing is that I can actually understand what is being said to me. Now, the interesting thing is that a lot of people think that fluency is some kind of final goal. If you're fluent, you speak, you understand everything, and you can say everything, but that is not exactly true. Let me give an example. I made a YouTube video some time ago, maybe 3 years ago when I was in Russia, and I didn't remember the word смесь, combination, or a mix, actually, a mix of something, and somebody wrote an interesting comment, which is it's not the only time that a comment like that was left under my video as well as other videos, saying that if you don't know such an easy word as mix or mixture or whatever, then you're not fluent. But the truth is, I thought, well, but just wait a second. But I was in Russia, I could speak, I could interact. We talked with a lot of Russians about philosophy, religion, you name it. And then the fact that I didn't remember the word, or I didn't even know the word mix, didn't keep me, hamper me from having conversations and actually communicating with people. I think that in language learning, imagine learning a language like making pizza. There are two main things that you have to do. You have to expand and you have to refine. So on the one hand, you have this piece of dough there, and you put more flour into it, and the piece of dough gets bigger. But then if you don't refine it, if you don't give it a form, then it's going to be a formless big piece of dough. While if actually you have a piece of dough which is not really big, and you work on it, you will have a perfect piece of dough that is too small. So which means that in terms of language learning, it means that if you learn too many words but you don't learn how to put them together in a given context, in a conversation, to communicate with other human beings, what is going to happen is that you know a lot of words, but you can't actually communicate, which is what happens all the time. For example, to students who go to school, they know a lot of words, they know about the language, but they can't actually use it. This I call explicit knowledge. And this notion of explicit knowledge and implicit knowledge, you can find it actually in an amazing book, which I can't find exactly right now, but it's in there, and it's called Lernen. It's a German book, which talks about the fact that you have explicit knowledge, which is knowledge about something, in this case about the language, about grammar rules, and then actually the implicit knowledge, which is the ability to use the language. So to go back to the pizza thing, if you have a very small piece of dough, then you have implicit knowledge. You have developed the capacity of using a few pieces of information, but that implies that you can rehearse, you can be very good within certain topics. Like, for example, you have your own islands. You can say a lot of things about a certain topic, but if you get out of your comfort zone, or somebody says something that you've never heard or you're never talked about, then you get lost. So the principle here, my strategy, is actually to use implicit knowledge, to develop implicit knowledge, which is the skill of communicating with a relatively small amount of words, where a relatively small means hundreds of words. And so we build, or I build my knowledge upon that using a few words, or the most frequent words, and I learn how to communicate with human beings, and then I expand upon that, because I still believe that in order to speak a language well, and to know it well, and to be able to be proficient in a language, you have to know a lot of words. But proficiency and fluency are two slightly different concepts. And my friend Anthony talks about this in the article that he put together, and this article is going to come out very, very soon, in a couple of days. I just wanted to anticipate this in my video, and it's going to be a really cool article, because it's not just about talking, it's not just talking about fluency for the sake of talking about fluency, which leads to a lot of discussions which they're not going to be very useful, but it gives you a very precise definition of that, and it gives you a very precise strategy and things to do and tools to use to finally communicate in a language fluently. So if you want to check that article, you can check it. I just put the link down below on my blog, which is www.thepolygondream.com. From now on, I will try to make more videos, because I haven't been very good with that due to a lot of things. But I always say that you always find the time to do things if you want to do them. So I wish you a fantastic day, and I will talk to you very, very soon. Bye.